My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramer America. I'll be one of my friends who's trying to make you some money. My job is not just entertainment, educate, and teach you. So call me at 1-800-743-CNBC or tweet me at Jim Cramer. You know, there's a new dynamic going on in this market. It's the fundamentals versus the fearmentals. Today, the fundamentals won. Score wasn't even close. Dow gaining 187 points. This be jumping 1.01%. NASDAQ pole vaulting 1.43%. Now, when I say fundamentals, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the likes of how a company like Apple is doing. Apple, which reported a stunning quarter, amazing demand for iPhones, AirPods, watches, credit cards, and a variety of services. More on that later. But let's start by talking about the best fear buster I've seen so far in earnings. Let's start by talking about Dow stock United Technologies, which reported a fantastic set of numbers despite an incredibly challenging environment. Can you imagine? Think about this. Think about what UTEX is up against. They have Boeing as a major customer. Boeing, whose top plane won't fly. It's costing United Technologies $100 million a month, while the MAX is mothballed. Meanwhile, China's the most important market for their sprawling Otis elevator business, a market that feels like it's vanished overnight thanks to the coronavirus. They're a defense contractor. Their defense budget's barely growing at all. Worst of all, the global economy slowing with little sign of green shoots anywhere. And what happens? This company puts up some of the best numbers I've ever seen. CEO and straight shooter Greg Hayes delivered a masterful quarter. No complaints about Boeing or China. United Technologies' pending merger with Raytheon soothes any worries about the defense budget because they're a consolidator. Other than the carrier climate control division, tad disappointing, every single line was up, and away. Why did this matter? Because United Technologies checks off all of the fear-amental boxes. It's exactly the kind of business you'd be most worried about and should be most worried about right here. And yet they still managed to triumph. It was a remarkable accomplishment. Really helped lead the market today. Because remember, Apple reported after the close, not during the market. When you remember that the fear-mentalists are practically off the charts in their raging here. And that's why I want to unpack them and double-click them. Those are two terms I keep hearing on conference calls that I find them very repulsive. Unpack, double. Can I double-click back on that? Can I double-click on that? One of these people idiots. Anyway, the first fear-mental is the coronavirus panic. And what will this thing do to air travel? What's the damage for a major aerospace supplier? I mean, don't you think they're most at risk? That's why United Technologies is so important. But think about what he said. At the moment, this outbreak is the biggest fear out there. But when he was asked about it on the call, here's how he responded. We went back and took a look at 2003 and the impact of the SARS virus, he continues. As you'll recall, air traffic slowed down significantly for about 3 months. And really, there was a 6-month impact overall in the aftermarket. But, Hayes says, this won't be another SARS. Listen to this. I would say there are two major differences today. One is the airlines are a lot healthier than they were in 2003. You were coming off 9/11 and airline bankruptcies, and nobody had any money. The fact is, air traffic remains pretty strong, and there will be a blip in Asia this quarter as a result of this, end quote. A blip. Take that, fearmongers. He wasn't done. The second thing is the flu. It happens every year. We went back and we were looking on the last full flu season. We had 960,000 people hospitalized with the flu. 80,000 people passed away. So as we think about this, you got to keep it in perspective. It's a big deal, obviously, until they get it contained. But the Chinese government, I think, is doing a much better job today in terms of being proactive in containing this, end quote. See, I just like great business people who tell it like it is, put everything in perspective, stop trying to scare people. This guy, I know this guy. He's not a BSer. I mean, he's out there saying stuff that you could say he didn't need to say, but he's looked at this stuff. He's the real deal. What a breath of fresh air. Some people are so invested in the fear-mental narrative that they'll refuse to acknowledge this perspective. But I think Hayes makes a lot of sense. Hell, he's no Pollyanna, believe me. He's just a reasonable person. The second major fear-mental, the fallout from Boeing's grounded 737 MAX. I mean, isn't that supposed to be rippling and destroying the economy? Well, certainly should be destroying United Technologies, right? Big customer. How can United Technologies shrug this one off when they're Boeing's top suppliers? Simple, because they've designed a popular jet engine called the Geared Turbofan, the GTF. And there's so much demand for this thing from so many aerospace companies that the MAX issue likely won't even dent the numbers much. This is just good old-fashioned American engineering. Saves a lot of gasoline, by the way. Jet fuel, they call it. Hayes thinks it will be resolved in 3 months, Boeing. 3 months. As he explained in the call, quote, we've got 10,000 GTF engines in backlog. That's incredible, end quote. Then he adds, look, we've got about a 40% share of the A320, higher share in the A321 than on the A319 and 320. In other words, basically, Airbus will gladly take anything United Technologies wants. Isn't it great to have a product that everybody wants? Plus, there's the huge transformation coming up. Companies merging with Raytheon to create an aerospace and defense powerhouse that's spinning off its elevator and climate control divisions as separate businesses. In other words, Hayes wasn't sitting around staying beholden to one company or one customer. Diversification is the only free business lunch, too. Oh, and as for worries about Washington, is Hayes thinking about this impeachment thing that's on the front page every day? Hate him or like him, it's on the front page every day? Not if you go through the quarter or talk to the guy, which brings us to the next fear of mental. Some people are worried about what will happen if President Trump is found guilty and removed from office. I don't know what universe they're living in. Regardless of how you feel about the Ukraine thing, the GOP-controlled Senate would have to be out of their minds to convict. Any Republican who breaks ranks is committing political suicide. The outcome is what I call a foregone conclusion, with or without Bolton. That's good for Wall Street. I know you may hate it. It's good. All right, anyway, the fundamentalists don't want to believe that. They don't want to believe any of this. They want me to come out here in a surgical mask. They want me to dab my eyelids with Clorox wipes, which I suggest you do not do, and stop shaking hands with my guests, instead fist bumping and praying, whatever. Yeah, and I carry it around. I carry it around. You should carry it around, whatever. I mean, it's good to carry around, isn't it? Oh, geez, the buttons. But here in this case, all I'm doing is stopping myself. Oh, never mind. Let me wipe that off. Oh, ha! Here's a good thing to spray. This guy's still in play lately. All right, the big question. Can Hayes' optimism withstand a sudden increase in the coronavirus body count, or maybe the death of an American no laughing matter who never visited Wuhan? Honestly, that's what I'm not sure about. But then let's talk about another company that's doing it, but it's a consumer company, so it can't be as good as what Hayes did. I'm talking about Apple. They had fabulous earnings report after the close. It's any guide. The fundamentals could give us another boost tomorrow, and the fundamentals be knocked to the canvas again. I was worried that Apple wouldn't be able to give us enough of an upside surprise to propel the stock higher because it had already run so much. Well, maybe I should have had even more faith in the company than I always do. It reported a monster top and bottom line beat fueled by phenomenal iPhone and AirPod sales, along with continued growth from their service revenue stream, of course, from the watch, the Apple, the TV. I mean, it's not a hobby, by the way. Even better, management gave very bullish guidance because Apple is a consumer product company, not an enterprise product like Boeing. There had been some hand-wringing about China. It caused a widening of the forecast range, but those were darn good numbers. Yes, they have to close the store, too. I mean, all that stuff. But what's the conclusion? Own it, don't trade it. This stuff burns my hands. Starbucks, on the other hand, couldn't give an outlook on China because of the coronavirus. Now, I got to press CEO Kevin Johnson when we interview him tomorrow morning on Squawk in the Street. I think if he weren't hamstrung by having to sell to people, having to sell their product directly to people instead of, say, airlines, well, like Hayes does, the stock would be flying. And, of course, we are going to press him about all of your concerns that the airport Starbuckses aren't nearly as good as the store-owned. No more messing around. It's what everybody says. The customer is right. By the way, as we talk here, you've got to understand that Cook is addressing the mitigation of product production losses. Again, it's not as clean a story as United Technologies. Bottom line, though, Greg Hayes' soothing common sense words helped reverse the prevailing negative trend this morning. He also gave other executives a roadmap for how to defeat the fear of mentalists. Oh, and Apple's numbers after the close, they sure didn't hurt either. Let's go to Alex in Ohio. Alex.
This is my son, Alex, and he has a question for you.
Sure, Alex. What's up, man?
Jim. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Alex, how old are you? Alex, how old are you?
I'm 14.
There you go. I mean, I thought that the only people who invest in stocks are 57 and they don't like anything. So go ahead.
Well, I'm involved in our stock market game at St. Francis de Sales High School in Columbus.
All right, well, let's crush him. Let's crush him. What do we got? Let's get this done.
Okay, I'm thinking of buying the Home Depot because they've been on the rise for about a month and were recently recognized for their climate efforts. What do you think?
Listen, kid, you got what I call is horse sense. Do you see those housing numbers? They're unbelievable. That's exactly where you need to be is HD. And by the way, it's North American. So right now, we don't have to worry that much about what's going on. Although if I got to someone's pointing at, look at this, someone whose birthday is today, so I got to pay attention to her. Phil in New Jersey, Phil.
Hey, booyah, Jim. How are you?
Phil, I couldn't be better, although my hands are sore from Purell. What's up?
I hear you. It's not fun. But, yeah, I just want to first off just thank you for all the money you've made me throughout the years, the tips. And, I'm coming to you tonight for some more guidance because I need your help.
Well, thank you for those kind words. We've been doing the show for a little bit now, so it's good.
I wish you were on 7 days a week because I really do miss you on the weekends. I go through.
I'd say that to my wife. I want to be on 7 days a week. She tells me to move out. What's up?
I watch it. That's all right. I have room in my house. You can come stay with me.
Okay.
But anyways, I bought Estee Lauder back about a month or two ago at like 193. The stock soared up, and then with the virus and everything coming out, got downgraded, and I sold some shares yesterday, and I still have a little bit left, but I'm just trying to figure out.
No, I don't want. I want you to hold on the rest.
I
put this in the bullpen for my charitable trust for ActionAlertsPlus.com. I'm going to tell club members, look, this is the one. The moment you get the all clear, and there's never really a full all clear, but we did a lot of work on what happened with with Ebola. There will come a day of Max Payne, and I don't think it was yesterday, frankly, where we'll be able to buy some Estee Lauder. I didn't even mention 3M. And that was just a bad quarter. They were actually hostage to everything. Okay, the fundamentals today, they defeated the fearmentals. Fundamentals, fearmentals. Oh, by the way, thank you, Greg Hayes. And Greg, you can always come on, even if we have to travel to one of your places, which I'd love to do. Regina Gilligan, would you please let me leave this office of mine and get to a factory of Greg Hayes? Thank you. On Mad Money tonight, I'm drafting not one, but 2 rounds of players for the big game on Sunday. Find out who I'm picking for an underutilized position. Let my Mad Money Football Championship improve your financial reality. Then, everyone know the sports team? Now could be your chance as the Madison Square Garden Company prepares to split. But which of New York's biggest crown jewels should you choose? The Rangers or the Knicks? I'm giving my take. And electronic medical records company Epic is urging hospitals to impose rules that make it easier to share medical info and maybe save lives. I'm talking to one CEO who says that she, who's the CEO, is epically wrong. Stay with me.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com. Or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.